and welcome to this week's Real Estate Weekly Lesson. I'm Greg Helbeck, and if you're not familiar with me, I've been a real estate entrepreneur, house flipper for over 10 years. It's crazy how time flies. And the goal of this channel or podcast, depending on how you're consuming it, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify or Apple, is to share with you what I've learned on my journey as an entrepreneur. And I've learned a lot of lessons. And today, you're in for a treat because boy, do I got a lesson for you on what not to do when it comes to flipping houses. So the mistake is buying properties in an area you're not familiar with, preferably that are listed on the market. That's a mistake. Usually that's how you get smoked. And because I did not follow the advice I'm going to give you, I lost $20,000 with Brett on a house flip gone south in good old Glen Olden, Pennsylvania, which is right near Philadelphia, if you're not familiar with that area. So I got a realtor who referred to me a listed property, which is another red flag. And he said, Greg, this is a great area to flip in. I think this is a deal. I think you can make money here. I think you could buy it at this number and put this much money into it and sell it for this price. I said, oh, that sounds good. Let me look at it. So it was listed. So I saw the pictures and the realtor went there and walked it. And obviously he has an incentive to sell it because he's going to make a buyer's agent commission, right? No kidding. So what ended up happening is we went under contract a little bit below list price. I had no clue about this local city or town, wherever it is. I think it's a borough. And allegedly you have to get, or not allegedly, you actually have to get a city sewer lateral inspection if you transfer real estate, which is interesting because usually that's not required. But in this area it is. And normally, if we're buying off market, the contracts are non-contingent. It's a private sale. You're getting it really cheap, etc. This case, that was not. It was like a public sale. It was on the market. So I didn't think of having a contingency. I'm like, oh, we're good to go. We keep our word, which is true. But sometimes that bites you in the ass. And in this case, it did. So we got a sewer inspection done and the sewer inspection failed. What I should have done is I should have had a contingency in my contract and either backed out and got my earnest money back, or I should have said, hey, it's going to cost an extra $7,000 to $8,000 to $9,000 to fix this. I need them to either fix it or give me a credit, or else I'm walking away. I didn't do that. I was like, no, we'll figure it out. The realtor lied to me. He said it's going to be cheaper than it actually was, and I believed him, and that's my fault. So anyway, we close on this house with hard money. I get a very bad contractor to do the work, which is my fault. He didn't do the proper rehab. It was just a total disaster. Didn't know the market at all. I was pretty pissed off, but I was like, at this point, we're literally inside of this property getting it done. We need to figure it out. So get the shitty rehab done. I go to put it on the market, and I'm like, now I'm looking at the numbers again, and I'm like, ooh, I don't think this is going to sell for 2 and a hook, which is what the realtor told me, but why not? So I think we listed it for $219 or something, which a little bit more than 2 and a hook is $220. Doesn't sell. I fired the realtor because different story, but basically he screwed us on another property that ended up making money, but he was on thin ice. He ended up getting kiboshed out of the deal. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to figure this out because we don't want to lose money. We don't want to sit on this thing. So I ended up finding a local realtor who literally works in that neighborhood. She knew what she was doing. She was honest with me about the numbers. She said, you're trying to sell this for too much money, which is usually the case when something's not selling. We listed it at $200,000. It sold really quickly once we relisted it and marketed the property better because the other realtor who brought me the deal was a complete knucklehead and had no clue what he was doing and just wanted to make a commission. Anyway, we lose $20,000. So that's the lesson. Don't buy properties in areas you're not familiar with that are listed. Stupid idea. If you're in an area you know and it's listed and you kind of know what it could be worth, that's a different story. If you're buying a property in an area you're not familiar with and it's off market and you're buying it at a steep discount, most likely that will work out too. But in this case, we did not do either of those things and we lost $20,000. So the reason I'm making this video is because that is a dumb mistake you can make. So if you're watching this or listening to this, you need to invest in areas that you understand. You need to, and I'm talking towns, not even counties, because you could be in the Delaware region and be in Pennsylvania or be in South Jersey or be in Maryland, right? You got to be hyper local. You got to know what the hell you're doing, right? And if you're in the Seattle area or the state of Delaware or the Hudson Valley, I know those areas really well. I know what properties are. I know what they're worth. I kind of know how the building departments work. So I kind of understand what I'm getting into, and I have a great network in all those areas, right? But this one was a different story. And usually when it's listed, honestly, it's most likely not a great deal because if something's listed for sale, 9 out of 10 times it's going for the most amount of money possible that the market will bear. In this case, we were the suckers here. We should have had contingencies in the contract. We should have backed out after the septic. A lot of mistakes that were made here. So don't make those mistakes. So one more piece of advice I'll give you, and then I'll wrap this video up, is that if you are buying a property on market for more money than you really want to, but it still could maybe work, throw a contingency in your contract, right? Throw in an inspection period, especially with something like this with a sewer. That's a big ticket item. Throw that in there. Say, I need a 5-day inspection period. And in this case, you needed to get a sewer inspection. We got that. I paid for that. It failed. I should have said, hey, this thing, we had no clue it was broken because we couldn't tell until we did the test. You're taking $8,000 off the price or else we're walking away and getting our earnest money back. I didn't do that because I didn't know the area and the property was listed. And I used an off-market strategy on an on-market property. Big mistake. Learn from my mistakes. Don't make them on your own. If you got value from this video, do me a favor. Like it, subscribe if you're listening, share it, post it on social media if you think it's valuable or if you think someone else might think it's valuable. And if you are in Delaware or you're in New York, specifically the Hudson Valley, and you have a property in those areas and you're a wholesaler, you want to sell it to me, hit me up. I love to buy from wholesalers. We've paid wholesalers 6-figure wholesale fees. Or if you're like, Greg, let's wholesale a deal together because we obviously flip and we wholesale. Send me your deals. I'd love to work with you. We JV with people all the time. It's always a win-win. And we're looking to do more business with our people who watch our videos and listen to our podcast. So email me, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com, or send me a DM on Instagram @grego37. And I'll see you on the next Real Estate Weekly Lesson. Take care.